Hi, Perfect Spirit. I really don't like this interface on Facebook Live. I'll probably need to do something different next time. But anyhow, you are the superhero. Perfect Spirit is the superhero. So let's dive into this first show of Superhero Sunday. We have to realize that we are this superhero, in disguise, but we're lost in all this noise. Before we really dive in, though, let's talk about some announcements first. So, first, tomorrow, Monday, we have Soul Messages with Lori and Sam coming back live on our Facebook page. That'll probably be a StreamYard because I need a new interface here. This is not very good on Facebook Live. And I'll share that on our page and I'll also share that on YouTube. And the second announcement is really exciting. This Wednesday, the 17th, is I'm returning back to my healing circles. I am a mystical healer. Just to explain what that is real quick, and I'll create a longer video on that. A mystical healer, I've been working with this divine love energy for 10 years. And then, in 2015, I think it was, I was working with a Peruvian shaman who taught me how to bring in the doctors from the spiritual realms. And my main doctor that I call in before I drop into this divine love energy is Galen, the first century physician. So let me know if you're here, if you can hear this fine. I know it's really unannounced, but I figured, hey, today's the day to start this. Why not? It's Valentine's Day. It's really about self love. Today's really about self love and appreciating us and those around us. But we get so caught up in this distraction, this noise, we forget our divinity. We forget our truth. So it's really about discovering that truth, that within you is a superhero. That perfect spirit within you is the superhero. This voice within you can cure all diseases, can create, abundance, financial independence, better relationships, better careers. That all is possible when you operate in this deeper, deeper place. But we get so lost up in here, we think we are our thoughts, our beliefs, our opinions, but that's not our truth. So we're just waiting for a few more people to join in here. But let's keep going. Let's keep diving in. How can you discover who you are? What your powers are, what your gifts are? Well, the first step you have to realize with spirit, it's step by step by step. We want to know 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead, but spirit does not work that way. Spirit gives you that one step, then the next step. When I was just doing, cards, readings, people gave me, feedback on headtrashanonymous.org. I said I would give them a reading. But when I give them a reading, I do 3 different pools, if you will, 3 different pools of cards, and they're basically all on the same theme. And it occurred to me, it's basically all on the same theme because spirit is step by step by step. It's not going to give you 4 steps, 5 steps. It's telling this is what you need to work on right here, right now. Then we'll take care of the next step. But right here, right now is all that matters to spirit. So where are you not focused? Do you have these big, huge plans and nothing works out? Because it is that way. You think it's going to go all perfectly smooth, but life isn't that way. Life is filled with all these obstacles, all these roadblocks. But we just simply have to see that, no, I just have to stop, slow down, follow my step, next step, and next step. So that's what I'm really trying to do, is get this noise out of the way so you can tap into your perfect spirit. You have a built-in superhero right here, right now. Just looking at the comments, make sure there's any questions I can dive into, explain everything. Can everybody hear me okay? Let me know. Let me know what city you're in. Let me know if you're watching this live or on replay. Just type that into the chat box. Let's get this discussion going. Because typically when I give talks, I like to talk for maybe 10, 15 minutes at most. but I'd much rather dive into questions, because questions is where the juice is. Because I want to know what you're going through. What is your experience? Being human means that we all have different experiences, and we know that recipe within us. But sometimes this creates a fog, a veil, and we really can't see my way forward. But your way forward is perfect for you, but yet this judges and limits you. So just learn to relax. Dive into that superhero that is you. This human body with this story has all this pain, all this suffering, all these stories that are not serving you. Realize that is your mental junk drawer. Well, since people are being a little quiet, let me talk more about this mystical healing that's going to occur Wednesday. It's really going to be magical. Like I said, I've been working with this divine love energy for about 10 years now. That divine love is consciousness. It's that 0 point energy where everything manifests from. Like I was attuned to Reiki and stuff after that, but to me it just felt diminished. Like I want to go right to the raw source, the raw capabilities. So we manifest, we create from down here, and when we create from down here, then all things become possible. Then in 2015, when I worked with that Peruvian shaman who taught me how to bring in those spiritual doctors, then it was really magical. And it's really interesting. People's experiences, maybe they're being touched, they hear people walking around them. It's really a magical place. So let me know if you have any comments, any questions. So you can go to headtrashanonymous.org and look for upcoming events. And perhaps I will see you there, and I'll make the recordings available afterwards if you cannot attend. And they'll be on my site that you can purchase. So don't be shy. I know you have questions. Ask questions. I'm here for you. Head Trash Anonymous is about how I can help you tap into your perfect spirit, your built-in superhero. We usually look outside ourselves for those heroes, for those uplifters, for those that are doing good in the world. But that is also you. We're all this one perfect spirit. We simply forget. We get lost in the noise, the chatter, the stories. Which story is not serving you? We can just relax in peace. And like I said, I just sort of went live. Didn't really give too much announcements what I'm doing, so it's a little quiet, but it's all perfect. Because I just remind us, in life is stillness. And if there was no space within the noise, it would just be a buzzsaw. So we are that stillness. Okay, Vanita, hello, welcome. All right. Can you talk more about how to bring in or access the shamanic experience for healing? Yeah, that was really interesting experience with the Peruvian shaman. He just really guided me through a meditation. It wasn't really something I can really teach because I wasn't in the upbringing, but he just led me through this meditation when we went into this deep space, and almost like we went to like this astral travel is the best that I can explain it. And it looked like a hospital in the sky. That is how I saw it. And that's sort of how he explained it in his meditation, was like a hospital in the sky. So when I was working with someone, they were having back issues. And I simply just put my hands on them when we were able to have those in-person meetings. And I went deep and I went into that space and say, can I please have some orthopedics come down for healing, for mending? Then I just felt the spine go straight and just release all that tension. It was quite magical. But life is very magical. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens Wednesday. And the theme is letting go of the health struggle, because we get caught up in all these stories. And when we mention healing, healing ignites the mental juncture with all these stories that healing is difficult. I don't have the skills, this, that, whatever it may be. It's 1,001 flavors. And we simply have to get out of that space. So I'm really doing this group live within the Head Trash Anonymous global chapter, because I want to build this community where I can give more hands-on help. My way of giving back. And the way of giving back too is on Monday night, when Lori will join me and we'll do some readings. We'll pull some cards if we need clarity, some insights. But when we pull those cards, clarity, it's just that first step, the first initial step. Yeah, I really don't know how you can learn to do this for yourself, but all things are possible. I would think the first step is to know yourself as perfect spirit, not your thoughts, not your opinions. Like, I worked with a Peruvian shaman at the right time. That was like 4 years after I discovered I was perfect spirit. It was like really taking 4 years to learn that divine love, that space of stillness, of quietness, when he showed up. Like I said, there's a saying is, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. I guess I was ready and my teacher appeared. And the Peruvian shaman, skilled in all the Inca traditions, when he came into Philadelphia. I was fortunate to have a one-on-one meeting with him where he could lead me through this meditation. But I don't think there's any way I can really teach you that. I think the first step is to know yourself as perfect spirit. And that's the whole point of Head Trash Anonymous, is remembering who you really are. You're not your stories, you're not your opinions, you're not your beliefs. You are perfect spirit, and perfect spirit is the superhero. All things are possible when you're in that space. So the mind is looking for that magic bullet, that magic solution, but it's a step-by-step process. For me, I just sat there for 5 minutes a day, discovering I had thoughts, but I wasn't my thoughts. Then 3 months later, roughly, hearing that voice say, perfect spirit. I'm like, that's it. I'm a perfect spirit. Just the body and mind that are damaged. Then I simply had a sense that all is well. All sense of fear just sort of dropped away, disappeared. So the first step is just learning to be present, to get out of this noise. And that's how you learn perfect spirit, is by becoming present. There's the noise. Where are my feet? Where are my hands? What do I hear? Very simple. The mind doesn't like the simplicity. It thinks it has to be complex and difficult. And if you're focused on healing, it does become very complex and difficult, because the mental juncture ignites with all these stories, starts throwing boulders on your path, knocking down trees, making these hurdles. Yes, you can focus on healing to heal, and eventually you will heal, but it's going to be a long, difficult road, because all these boulders and debris has to be cleared out of the way first. Like I said, I really don't like to talk too much. So that might be a shorter first show, that there's no limitations, there's no restrictions. Whatever comes about, comes about. But I want people to see that they are the superhero. And maybe when I get this other interface, because I really don't like this Facebook Live, how it is now, then maybe we can start bringing some people in, and we can do some live discussions, or maybe even interview people and their journey of how they ignited their superhero, how they tapped into their truth. So if there's any other questions, I do have cards as well. If there's some kind of specific thing that doesn't come up. But that's the beauty of it. When you're quiet and still, the answers sort of arise. I find it amusing when Eckhart Tolle, takes audience questions, he'll read his little index card. He's like, "Oh, that's a good question. I'd like to know the answer too." And he just looks around, gets quiet. He gets into this deeper place and allows the wisdom to just rise up. People could ask me the darndest questions. I won't have any clue. But yet an answer will arise, and it may make no sense to me. But that's perfect. And the mind has a hard time with the unknown, because the mind is comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is a known entity. But when you dive into the unknown, it's a very scary place for the mind. Very scary. Because the mind wants everything planned out. But life isn't that scripted. Destiny is not fixed. That it's fluid. What the actions I'm taking right here, right now, will impact the next moment. Or some moment coming, it will impact. All right, I'm just feeling the call to pull this from this healing energy oracle. I want to see what the energy is for the week, and then we'll end it for the day. And then each week, hopefully, we'll grow with more questions, more insights. When people will have the idea that I'm doing this every Sunday morning, somewhere between 11:30 and noon Eastern, in my Head Trash Anonymous Global chapter. And if you don't know, if you haven't been to this group before, you can get a copy of my first book in that group in the files and download that PDF called I Don't Dwell. So here's the energy for the week. Let's tap into that. The goodness. I don't know how good you can see that card or not, but it's the goodness. To me, when I see that card, it's about seeing the goodness in all things, seeing the beauty in all things, and being really mindful of judgment, criticism, all that stuff coming up from up here, because it's blocking you. If you see somebody successful, celebrate their success. Be in that vibration of success. Don't be in a poo-poo mode, because that will block your abundance. Oh, hello, Max. Welcome. Yes, Max, you are alive. Realize the simple fact that you are alive. If you're alive, then all possibilities are there. Let me share a story here that might be interesting. So I forget, it was about 5 years ago. I saw this woman in the hospital. She was dealing with cancer that metastasized through her bones. She was in a wheelchair, really in bad shape. When I looked at her, I saw she only had a very short time left here. Days, maybe a week. It was really a short time. So I do what I did do. She was there. Her mother was visiting from California. I sat with her, and we just did this divine love healing. And I really loved the way she explained it. The way she explained it was, she just saw this golden energy just coming through. It was almost forming a web through her body. And she even talked about it years after that. Whenever she would close her eyes and think of that meditation, she would see this golden energy weaving through her body. And she was blessed with another 5 years of life. That she was given another 5 years to achieve some milestones, like seeing her son graduate high school and some other significant events that I can't quite remember right now. But I know those 5 years, a lot of things happened that she could be here for and appreciate, because I was able to get this out of the way and let her know her own truth. And then after she got out of the hospital, out of the wheelchair, I was just watching her on Facebook, and she was doing all these amazing things to nurture her body, to nurture herself, to march to her own drummer. I simply ignited the inner healer within her. So when there's ever a struggle, it's the mind saying, I'm just stuck with this. There's no way out. but you can keep going. You can keep fighting, if you will. But I don't recommend the energy of fighting. That's sort of a blocking energy. But it's more of an energy of determination. This is not going to slow me down. This is not going to stop me. What's the one step I can take right here, right now? Now, that 1 hour of meditation or the 90 minutes, I think I sat with her for 90 minutes going through this guided meditation with her and holding space for her to clear all this. Because if you're in a hospital with cancer and dire shape, you can't imagine what's being filled in your mental junk drawer. All this stuff is just coming in, all this debris. So that needed to be cleared out and remind her that she is alive. Everything is still possible, that you're still breathing. The soul is still within you. It has not left. And that's a different story. I've been in cases before where I walked into a hospital room, person was on ventilators, and I saw the soul left. It's like, all right, I'm departing. And within a day or two, the physical body died. But sometimes there's that case where the soul has returned, but the body is still there being animated by the machines. But if you're being animated by yourself, there is possibilities. That light of your soul is still within you. It hasn't returned back to source. All right, I think that's my storytelling for today, but I'll be back next Sunday in this group. Hopefully you'll be more prepared for me between 11:30 and noon. I'll try for closer to 11:30 so I have more time, more of the afternoon to give you because there's no time limits. Just want to help and serve. Maybe eventually put time limits in. But then on Monday, tomorrow I'll be live on Soul Messages with Lori and Sam doing some readings. And then I'm going to get StreamYard because this interface is terrible. And then I'll also broadcast it onto YouTube. And we will read as many people as we can. We'll try to do them, thorough, quick. Because Lori is really tuned in to do these intuitive messages. So just remember to focus on that goodness of life today, the energy of goodness for this week. And really cherish yourself, honor yourself. See Valentine's Day as Self-Love Day. And make every day Self-Love Day. Because the self-love, the self-appreciation of yourself will create transformations. Because this goodness within you will radiate out into the world. And you will make a big, huge difference in the world. All right. I'll see you tomorrow, and then I'll be Wednesday on Zoom, and you can see my website, headtrashanonymous.org, for upcoming events, for tickets, and there's also ways to get the whole year of healing for a very insignificant fee, because you're getting all those meditations, all that work, and that's perfect. When I talk about people, I really don't want a following. If I see you once every 3 weeks, I'm okay with that. If you come to me every day for help, suggestions, that may cause an issue because you're not trusting and depending on yourself. That there's still something within you saying you can't do this. But you can do this. You are the perfect spirit. You are the superhero. All right, take good care of yourself. Bye for now.